So we're locked in right now with Ilhan Omar after some recent news came out about what I can only describe as being very shady business dealings, with her husband's firm scrubbing some names from their firm's website. And these weren't just some random names. No, these weren't Tom, Dick, and Harry. These were some very well-connected names to the Democrat Party that were connected to people such as a Barack Obama, for example. And this comes off the back of the Somali fraud already being exposed to Americans about what's happening in Minnesota. And so people are asking questions about a lot of things that she has been able to skate by on for some time now, such as going from having a negative net worth to 30 million in 1 year. As always, ladies and gentlemen, you enjoyed the video, go ahead and smash that thumbs up. Let me know you love it. Subscribe to the channel for more and share this video. That way more people see what's really going on.
Are we going to get a lot of complaints along the way? Absolutely. You know, one of the things I learned at PayPal was who complains the loudest and with the most amount of fake righteous indignation? The fraudsters. It's a tell.
Critics are also asking why Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's husband reportedly purged key officer official details from his $25 million venture capital firm's website. Now, this move comes amid growing questions about the couple's wealth and possible connection to the welfare fraud. According to her latest financial disclosure in May, the couple's net worth surged 3,500% in just 1 year. It estimates now putting it anywhere from $6 million to $30 million. Their net worth went up 3,500%. How do you explain that? And then talk about the scrubbing on the website. That doesn't look good. What's Walz doing about that? Is he looking into this?
Well, certainly not. I mean, he's certainly supportive of whatever they're doing. And this is one of the other things that we need to address is the extent to which members of Congress find themselves getting wealthy while they're in Congress. In this case, it appears by being completely in bed with all of the fraudulent activity that's going on in Minnesota. Of course, we should investigate this. Of course, should we look into what they're scrubbing from their website. I think we've got to explore this as far as we can, including potentially looking into denaturalizing and removing Ilhan Omar if she's violated our laws. And by the way, we should also ban stock trading among members of Congress, since we're talking about the wealth of Congress, and I have a bill to do that, and I hope we will do that next year. Mike Johnson, the Speaker, is working with us to do that. We have got to stop all of this flow of dollars that is corrupting our system, empower the American people to do what they do best, and we've got to pause immigration. I introduced a bill to pause immigration because we've got to stop this massive abuse of our system, using H-1Bs, using diversity visas. President Trump is exactly right to have frozen the diversity visas, to have stopped that, to freeze the flow from countries of concern. Remember that in 1920, when we had a high percentage of people that were foreign-born, we froze immigration for 40 years. And our country vanquished, the Nazis in Germany, freed the world. We did great things in those 40 years. We can do it again. That's why I introduced legislation to pause immigration. The president's right to do that, and I'm supporting him in that effort.
And so there you have that. And so Ilhan Omar's husband runs one of the largest venture capital firms, which went from 0 to 60 billion in assets in about 1 year. I mean, wow. Talk about, you must know his stuff clearly, right? And her husband happens to be, I don't care, but he happens to be a white guy. And I say that because Ilhan Omar has made a point of expressing how America, specifically America, needs to be extremely concerned, should be worried about white men because they are the ones who are dangerous. They are the ones that Americans should really have their eye on. Just find that very interesting that while she's so concerned about America, she is literally married to what some might say is the enemy then, if that's how she feels. But, her words, not mine. Take a listen.
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country. We should be profiling, monitoring, and creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men.
You can't make this up. I guess she's not that concerned about how dangerous they are. She lays in bed next to one every night. I find that rich that she would say that, yet the way she lives her life speaks very differently. Nonetheless, let's get to the main story here, where her husband, this dangerous person, Ilhan Omar's husband, $30 million firm, quietly scrubs names from the company's website as squad members face mounting questions on sudden wealth amid Minnesota welfare fraud. And so what's happened very recently, we know about the fraud that's being uncovered in Minnesota. We know about how she was directly connected to the Feeding Our Future scam, Somali restaurant, the Safari restaurant, where you can go on. I've shared this on this channel before. She's literally on camera showing and supporting this restaurant and saying that they're feeding all these kids. It's still up on YouTube. It's still on X right now. You can research it. Safari restaurant, Ilhan Omar. You'll see it exactly what I'm talking about. The owner went down for fraud, as well as many other people who are being indicted, charged, and sentenced due to the fraud that has been running rampant in Minnesota. And so a lot of questions are being asked because a lot of the people going down seem to have some affiliation, whether it's people who one moment they're at these political events, shaking hands, rubbing shoulders, and photographs with the likes of Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar, and other Democrat officials of the state of Minnesota. Then the next second, they're in cuffs. And so people are asking questions. And now this doesn't make it look any better as far as you just saying what's really going on when you have her husband's firm attempting to quietly scrub names from their website. But this is 2025. This is the internet. You can't do anything like that as someone who's a public official, someone who's in the public spotlight, and no one's not going to notice. It's going to happen. And so these were some very well-connected people whose names were removed. First, let's get a little deeper breakdown as far as to understanding how Ilhan Omar and her husband, how did they go from being average, everyday people? She wants to get into politics. He wants to start a business, to suddenly within a year time amassing 30 million.
Increase in personal net worth. You know, we've heard from a number of people who are terribly curious about this, and you might be as well. According to the Congresswoman's most recent 2024 financial disclosure form, the 43-year-old Democrats' combined household wealth has gone up an astonishing 3,500%, and that's since the end of 2023 alone. That means her current fortune is something in the neighborhood of $30 million. And stop for a second and really drink that in. Now we'll take a closer look at how Omar claims she came about all that hard-earned cash. And for starters, she's pinning the blame on her own husband. Yeah, throw that poor slob under the bus. Former political consultant turned venture capitalist Tim Minette claiming that he's had a good run of luck lately with a couple of his enterprises. And just how good, you might ask? Try this one on for size. In just 1 year, Omar says the value of Minette's venture capital firm skyrocketed from under $1,000 with no income at all to suddenly having a net worth of up to $25 million, even though the firm had zero reported income. I know what you're thinking. Tell me more. Yeah, we found out more. Additionally, she says that during the same time frame, her husband's California winery magically saw its value soar from $50,000 to nearly $5 million, and basically overnight. Now, if that doesn't make you raise an eyebrow, check this out. Omar makes less than $175,000 a year for her role as a congresswoman, a government job. And when she first entered Congress back in 2018, she reported a negative net worth, including substantial student loan and car payments as well. And by the way, this isn't the first time that people have been questioning the financial activities of the Congresswoman and her husband. In 2019, Omar widely panned for forking over $3 million in campaign money to her husband's former consultancy group as part of the 2020 election cycle. And mind you, this transfer took place before the two were even married. In the meantime, the lawmaker who's ratcheting up efforts to kick Omar out of Congress entirely, now doubling down and pushing for a full-scale investigation into whether or not the Congresswoman ever actually committed or covered up any type of alleged fraud at all. Furthermore, Florida Republican Randy Fine claims there's a pervasive culture of immigration, Medicaid, and welfare fraud running through Minnesota's entire Somali community. That Omar is basically their kind of ringleader, and that turns out she lied in any way. She should be sent back to her country of birth along with everyone else.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, there you have that. Remember the names that I was referring to, guys. Remember the names, ladies and gentlemen, that I was saying some very well-connected names to the Democrat Party. Here goes a few of them. These names include lobbyist and former Obama ambassador to Bahrain, Adam Orelli. This is Adam Orelli, really quick. Adam Orelli, founder and CEO of Ibero-American Consultants, a strategic advisory firm that consults governments, the private sector, and nonprofits on policy formation, communications, and business development in the United States, Middle East, and South Asia. Who else is on this list that they scrub their names off? Well, Obama ambassador to China, Max Baucus, if I'm saying that correctly. Who is he? Well, Max is a Democrat senator for over 35 years, making him the longest serving U.S. senator in Montana history. DNC Finance Chair Associate Alex Hoffman, former DNC Treasurer William Darrow, investor, American Bank investor. And last but not least, former ex-CEO of Amalgamated Bank, Keith Mestrick. And here goes Keith right here. And let me just say this, ladies and gentlemen, as we look at a few of the men that I were able to pull up. Ilhan Omar wants America to be worried about white men because they're so dangerous. But she herself has a funny way of showing how dangerous she really believes these men to be. As she has no problem doing business with said white men. I guess if she's able to make millions in the process working with white men, they're not that dangerous. Some might say that she's playing a game where she's trying to convince the people who follow her to believe one thing while behind closed doors, she actually just uses their fear and victimization mentality to her advantage. I'm just saying. And that's exactly why conservatives, Republicans don't trust Ilhan Omar, because at the same time she's telling people how dangerous white men are. She's married to one and doesn't mind doing business with rooms full of white men. Then also, check this up really quick. Check this out. In February, Ilhan Omar hosted a workshop. In February, Ilhan Omar hosted a workshop to advise Somalis on how to avoid deportation. Take a listen.
xildhibaanad Ilhan Omar oo dhowaan la hadashay saxaafadda ayaa talo bixin siisay dadka sharciga aan haysan ee ku nool dalkan.
waxaan ula talinayaa dadka Soomaalida ah haddii ay maxaa la dhahaa ii sheeg ice ay isku dayaan inay ku su'aalaan muku qasban tihid inaad su'aalahooda aad ka jawaabtid waxaad dhihi kartaa lawyer aan ii advice garay inaanan ku jawaabin qasab ma aha magacaaga iyo sharciga ku joogtid iyo waxaas oo dhan iisaa ku imaataybo inaad kala hadashid marka baro sharciyada iskuna diyaari in aad maxaa la dhahaa ii sheeg aadan dadkaaniiti aadan u sheegin information aadan rabin inay ogaadaan.
And so there you have that. And so that's why now you have people, the question is being posed. Should people who are allowed to become naturalized citizens, should they be able to run for positions of office such as in the House and Congress, or should all of that be off limits? Just like they can't run for president. You have to be born in this country in order to run for president of the United States. And the question is being posed. Should that just be the case for all political positions, even if it's something as simple as the city council or a mayor or the House, the Senate? Should those elected positions only be reserved for people who were born in the United States and has to have at least one parent also that was born in the United States? Because we're talking about how Trump is trying to change the whole birthright citizenship thing, where you have people who they come to this country and they'll just have a baby and now their babies become American citizens, but yet both parents are from completely different countries. And so that is something that people are asking because they question how loyal can someone be to the United States when they're not really from this country, when their roots aren't here, and when they still have a loyalty to another country, as another Somali elected official said on camera. And I'm going to bring that up. And so here it is, ladies and gentlemen, throwback to Somali Democrat saying she hopes the U.S. taxpayer will fund the rebuilding of her home country, Somalia.
Policies, how can the politics in Somalia can be, resonate what we have here in the United States, the democracy that we have. How can you help us, be a better country and build back what we used to have back in long time ago? So hopefully, we will be able to help our country, our former country, Somalia.
Within our community, we usually send money back home to the less fortunate.
So up there they have a money place you can send back.
Right there.
The scale of this operation is quite large. In fact, World Bank data shows that 17.5% of Somalia's GDP consists of remittances. A remittance is a transfer of money, usually by a migrant worker, to their family or friends in their home country. 40,000 Minnesotans were born in Somalia, so many are still in close touch with their families back home. We continue to walk around the Carmel Mall when, as if we weren't out of place enough already, a cop came to escort us to building management. ROCA News. Alright, so we were just pulled aside by security. Now we're okay though to film inside. So one interesting thing is when a store is unoccupied, people won't necessarily lock it. We've seen a lot of unattended to stores. So it's clearly like a high trust community here, and we're the only two white guys in all 4 floors of this. It's very tight.
I moved from Sweden 5 years ago. What brought me? I came here because there was already Somali community established. So I said, okay, let me go there so that I can start my business. Somali community are like huge supporters for each other.
The white Americans around, are they friendly? Are they not?
I know none of them. When I was coming to America for the first time, I was carrying a Swedish passport and I was black and hijabi, And the officers in the immigration, they were like, they probably were expecting a Viking. That's what America stands for. Like everybody's segregated in their own community. White people are with white people. Somali people are with Somali people. That's what America is. You come here, you start your own community, and you stay with your community.
There you guys have that. I don't think that woman has a clue what America really is about if that's her statement of what America is right there. But what say you? Drop your comments down below. As always, best way to show your support. Let me know you love the video. Smash that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more. Share this video. That way more people see what's really going on. And as always, until next time.